Hey man, you watching Cold Red with the one and only big homie. My big homie, KB. It's up there and it's stuck there. Boom!
Ricardo or more. Drink like a boss.
Hey, what up? We in Cold Red. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm your host, the Playmaker, and today we got a very, very special guest in the building. We got Black Wayne in the building.
That's what I'm talking about.
Black Wayne, what's up?
What's going on?
Hey, man, first of all, I want to welcome you to the couch.
Appreciate it, bro.
I got some very in-depth questions I'd like to ask you. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's get right to it.
All right.
Black Wayne.
Ooh-wee.
Tell the people a little bit about you.
Okay. I'm originally from Chicago. I was born in Chicago, but we migrated to Milwaukee my first year after being born. My mom and dad moved to Milwaukee. And my mom met my little brother's dad after they broke up with my original dad, and she started selling dope in Milwaukee, a lot of dope. This lasted from the age I was 1 to 6 years old. I stayed in Milwaukee from 1 to 6 and then moved back to Chicago. But I was back and forth to Milwaukee up until the age of 18. Summer vacations, Christmas break, spring breaks, everything was spent with my dad up in Milwaukee, and I just did school and every other time with my mom in Chicago.
So, growing up in Chicago and Milwaukee, was it a big difference?
Actually, only thing that was different was that the city was smaller. Milwaukee, smaller than Chicago. That's the only difference to me. Everything else really the same.
The crime, the people.
Everything. Milwaukee, Milwaukee.
That's what you call it?
That's what I call it. It's one big area to me.
Ain't nothing different to you.
No difference.
So, what side of town did you grow up on?
Well, up in Chicago, I grew up on what they call the South Side. It's really the Southwest Side in Inglewood on 72nd and Walcott. I grew up on it. It was a rough area. You know what I mean? It was real rough going to school. You couldn't just walk to school by yourself. You had to have a gang of people to go to school just to get to school. You know what I mean? My school was blocks away, but anything can happen within them blocks. So we had to stay 4 or 5 deep with a bunch of kids just to us getting to school safe.
It was that serious?
It was that serious.
Damn. So, when you migrated to Milwaukee, you were 6 years old.
No, I was 1 when I migrated to Milwaukee, and we migrated back from Milwaukee when I was 6, turning 7.
7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What side of town did y'all end up on?
What, Milwaukee?
Yeah.
We was on the north side. Now, we was in the east side, but the north side is where everything was happening at. So my stepdad, that's who I look up to, named Black Al. Rest in peace. Looking up to him, he reminded me like I had celebrities in my head when I looked at certain people, and he reminded me of Wesley Snipes in his prime on
New Jack City.
New Jack City. Imagine them being a person who was around Wesley all the time. That's who he was to me. He was that type of person. My mama reminded me of Neil Carter of Give Me a Break. Okay. And my real dad reminded me of the dude that played the Rock, the bald head dude off that show when he was the garbage man.
Yeah.
Rock. These are the 3 people that I was portrayed as when I was growing up. That's how I looked at them growing up.
So you compared your life to TV sitcoms? Did that make life easier for you?
Yeah, it did, because I experienced and I seen a lot of shit. I seen a lot of stuff. And only reason why I was able to deal with it because my mom talked to me like I was an adult, but at the same time, she schooled me like I was a child. She let me know my place every time. She was the best mentor I ever had.
Okay. So let's talk old Milwaukee then.
Old Milwaukee. That's what I used to call it too, the old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee,
That's
huh?
crazy. I used to call it the old Milwaukee.
What did you see or experience growing up around the individuals you was introduced to? Like, what was the best area of Milwaukee that you resided in?
Okay, well, the best. Let me put it like this. Growing up, I knew a lot, I seen a lot, and I understood a lot, but I was really spoiled like a motherfucker. Like, my mama gave me a lot of shit, but she told me to earn the shit that I was getting. So I was already knowledgeable that if I wanted something, I had to do something for it. And I knew that at a young age. Knowing stuff like that, my mom taught me how to lie. Not to steal, but she taught me how to lie. She said these were white lies, meaning there was lies that meant that I was supposed to tell to make It was the only type of lie I could tell that wasn't really a lie. It was just something so it wouldn't get people in trouble. That's how she explained it to me because I lied a lot for my mom. Because she didn't want nobody to know that she was selling dope. She was leaving me with certain individuals that to this day, if she knew that she was leaving me with these individuals and this type of things or conversation or situation, boy, she would go crazy. She would go crazy.
Okay. So what was the most infamous side of town you grew up on?
The north side.
The north side.
The north side.
And what that consists of?
Up and down Kilbourne and Highland. I seen a lot.
Oh, you grew up over in them areas?
Yeah. I actually grew up I grew up on 25th and Kilbourne in the same apartment building with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Really?
Yeah. We actually stayed there with his grandmother first. His grandmother was originally there first. She was like the first apartment on the second floor. When you get there, this is an apartment on this side. And she was a senile old white lady. She called me little nigga boy. Every time she see me, she say, hey, little nigga boy. And come to the door with some Kit Kat and Reese cups like it was Halloween every day. To this day, I'm infatuated with Kit Kats and Reese cups. I love them motherfuckers.
Shout out to her mama, huh?
Yeah, anyway, but at that time, I was inquisitive, but only with my mom. My mom would tell me everything. So when I heard that, I knew what she was saying. It didn't feel right with me calling me a nigga boy, but I knew something to the point where that I had to ask my mom why she calling me that. And my mom said, well, she's senile. I said, what that mean? She said, well, what she's saying is she don't know that she's saying is wrong to you, so don't pay no attention to that. And I always took my mama's word as bond, so that's how I looked at it. So when she called me that, I didn't take offense to it anymore, only because my mom told me what she told me. So that was Jeffrey Dahmer's grandmother. And then lo and behold, a young man moved into the building who we thought was a custodian because he's cleaning up all around the floor, but it's because his grandmother stayed there. He's trying to take care of his grandma at the time. He stayed with his grandmother for like the first couple of weeks, and then he moved into his own apartment right across the hall from us. Jeffrey Dahmer. We knew him as Jeff. My mom had many a time, like I told you, she sold dope. And she sold a lot of dope up and down Highland on 17th and 18th and Highland. And we stayed, and she had two apartments, one on 28th and Highland and one on 25th and Kilbourne. These was, we would call them safe house only because this is where we had all our clothes and stuff in. And if I wasn't at the Kilbourne, we was on Highland, but this is where we personally had our shit at. And yeah, shit. When he moved in, he was there for a couple of weeks, and then he got his own spot. I think he was working at the chocolate factory. It was one time in the morning, my mama had to bust a move. She just got me dressed, ready to go to school. I was going to school on 27 in Wisconsin, and Jeffrey Dahmer was in the hallway cleaning up, and she said, Jeff, I need you. We run, hey, what's going on? My mama's name was Nodi. Everybody know that as Nodi or No-No. Her real name is Donola, but they know her as Nodi or No-No. Shout out to my mama. She said, Jeff, I need you to walk Wayne to school right quick for me. That kicked off a series of him always walking me to school. After that day, it was just like his job to walk me to school because my mama made a thing to now she got a person to walk me to school that she can trust. She trusted Jeff because we knew his grandmother, and it was times that his grandmother got lost and we found her way home for her. You know what I mean? Like and he knew about that type of shit. So when he came in and paid attention to his grandma, she told him a lot about us to where he respected the shit out of us. So when he walked me to school, it was just something he felt like he had to do. But that was some experience walking to school with Jeffrey Dahmer.
What was the experience?
Yeah, it was some crazy, so imagine being, at the time I probably was like 5 or 6 years old. I was in kindergarten on 27 in Wisconsin, and we'd be walking to school, and he's always talking. And he talked to me like how my mom talked to me like an adult. Like there's certain things that he'll say that you wouldn't think that a kid would understand. And he'll ask me, you know what I'm talking about? And I say, I know exactly what you're talking about. And he'll ask me what I'm talking about. And the first time he asked me, and I explained to him what he's talking about, he said, I ain't gonna never ask you again. And he never did.
So what did he ask you?
Okay, so it was a time when he asked me, do I know what it means to be a homosexual? He actually asked me that, do I know what a homosexual? I said, that means that you like who you are. If you're a boy, you like a boy. If you're a girl, you like a girl. I knew that because my mama had a dyke couple who stayed with her. This was my original babysitters. When she used to go do stuff, she had a girl that had a girlfriend that used to babysit me. It's the first time I ever experienced this type of shit. She had a girlfriend that used to dress up like a dude, but when my mama left, both these hoes got naked. You hear me? Around me every day, all day. And I experienced some shit. So by the time Jeffrey came into the picture, I done already, you know what I'm saying? I'm that way to the point where when he was talking about shit and he realized that I knew what I was talking about, he had some in-depth conversations with me that he knew wouldn't nobody know about, because I felt like if I told my mom about a lot of shit, that for one, I was interested in a lot of shit that I was seeing, so I didn't want to not be around or see this shit, you know what I'm saying? And for two, I knew how my mom was, and I didn't want her going to jail for some shit. I felt like my mom really killed a motherfucker. She found out a lot of shit that I was going through. And yeah, because I remember the girls telling my mom, telling me, like, don't tell your mom this what we be doing. She said, oh, and I remember one day telling them, like, you ain't got to, when they came in, I said, you ain't got to tell me, don't tell my mama nothing. I never say nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And you kept a secret.
And I kept a secret.
Until now.
Until now.
That's what's up. So let's get back to Dahmer, man. I mean, because it's so much to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
He walked you to school every day.
Yeah, so it was an experience. You remember the little nursery rhyme mama had a lady and her head popped off. I know that because Jeffrey Dahmer picked up a dandelion and was like, look, Wayne, mama had a baby and her head popped off. Look at the milk coming out of mama's nipple and showing me the little white stuff coming out the dandelion. Like, I heard and know this because Jeffrey Dahmer. That's some crazy shit, though, ain't it? I remember walking to school and Clifford, a big red dog, came, and all the kids, 7th, 8th graders, they trampled me. Like, I'm talking about, they jumped on me just to get to this damn dog. And Jeffrey Dahmer was just dropping me off at the gate, and he seen all them kids trampling me. He pushed them all out the way and snatched me up out the motherfucker and shit. They took me to the doctor. I was fucked up. Imagine a little ass kid getting stumped on by what could be grown folks.
So he saved your life.
He saved my motherfucking life, ain't that something?
So he was almost like an uncle to you, huh?
He was cool as hell. I'm not gonna lie, dude was cool as a bitch. I remember, so it was a bar around the corner from the house we stayed on, 25th and Kilbourne. The bar was on 27th and State. It's called Gare Bears now, I think, but it was a gay bar back then. That's where he used to pick up his people from. And I remember a time that a black dude came to the door. I was in the hallway with my god sister. Shout out to Danielle. If you know, she'll be able to remember this. We was in the hallway playing with newspaper. We used to always be making pirate hats and paper planes. And just experienced a guy, I was just not making a paper plane, I'm throwing it, and the guy came banging on Jeffrey Dahmer's door. Let me in, Jeff, let me in. Jeff behind the door, like, go away, go away. He's like, let me in, let me in. He's like, go away. And he would not leave, right? And Jeff didn't open the door. So dude left and then came back, but when he came back, by this time, I'm in the house, but I'm listening at the door, and he's banging on the door again, asking Jeff to let him in. This time, Jeff let him in. You know what I'm saying? Man, we never seen that motherfucker again. You know what I'm saying? That's the dude I think was on the movies, the black guy. The reference of the story, I could tell you exactly how it happened. He left and then came back, but I think he let him in because we weren't in the hallway no more. I think the reason why he didn't let him in because it was me, my god sister, and a bunch of kids playing in the hallway and shit. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, it was late at night, though. And we had a bunch of kids playing in the hallway because the only people that stay in this building is people like my mom, was a young motherfucker with kids that probably sold dope and shit like that. And older folks was like Jeffrey Dahmer's grandmother and old Mexican people and shit. So when we walked in the building, it would have a funny smell sometimes. First thing he said was, like the first smell, it smelled kind of funny. I'm like, what's that smell? My mom told me, well, you know, we stay in the house with a bunch of white folks, and not saying like that, but a bunch of white people and Mexicans. It smelled like wet dogs in here, you know. So that's what I took it as. But then we had an even more funkier smell after that. And I'm like, damn, it smelled like Limburger cheese. You know that? I told Limburger's cheese smelled like the beer factory mixed with something else, and it smelled like that in the apartment building, and only on our floor. Hear me? And so my mom said, Jeff, why it smell like that in here? He said, I found a colony of rats, and I put down some rat pellets. I think they're dying in the walls. That's the smell you guys probably experiencing. He was a cold motherfucker for saying that because that's what we took it as. And then that's just what it was. And that was his way of covering up the smell for the people in the building, and we could just live with that, knowing that that's what it was. But the whole point was he was trying to cover up the smell of bodies. And this guy was actually putting them bodies in front of the apartment building in the garbage can right in front of the apartment building. And sometimes we wouldn't get dumped in. This shit was crazy. And I didn't know this shit until after the fact, and we were seeing reports of this shit. I'm like, damn, I remember that. You know what I mean? And that shit was crazy.
So, how many people did you actually see go in and never come out?
About four.
Did you ever ask
black.
them?
They all were black.
Did you ever ask them?
Nope. That was the type of stuff I was afraid to talk to him about. I didn't think because I didn't know that aspect of what was going on till after the fact. Then I think about it, like, damn, I remember it was a dude that was going to I remember that shit. I can't tell you what he did. I can tell you what I seen when it happened.
So when you moved out, right? So when y'all moved out of the apartment, is that when everything transpired?
That's the only reason why we moved out, because they found that.
Oh, y'all were still living there?
Still living there. So look, we happened to be, and then what's the crazy part about it, when we moved out, we moved into the apartment building on 28th and Kilbourne, right on the corner, right? And we was somewhere at our auntie house, and we seen our apartment burning down. We had just moved into this building. We wasn't even there for a while. And we was somewhere at our people's house on the weekend, and the way we found out our apartment was burning down, and we were watching the news, and they had our apartment building on the news. And my mama just moved all our shit up into that one apartment. Like, we had a whole bunch of shit, and that was basically like the safe house, because we was only there to, like, change clothes and go through shit. But it was a bunch of new shit in that motherfucker, and they burnt everything in that motherfucker. And that was my first experience of going to a shelter and shit, because right after that, my mom went to a shelter for a couple months, and then we went to Chicago, moved back to Chicago.
Oh, so that was your experience with Jeffrey Dahmer, huh?
I got something else with Jeff, too. He asked me, how did I know about the situation with, how do you even know about what's homosexual? How do you know about that type of stuff? Did your mom tell you that? I said, my mom clarified it for me, but I know because the two women that babysit me are gay. I say, but when my mom leaves, see, stuff that I've never told, that's the reason why I was able to keep Jeff's secret, because he kept my secrets. I told him a lot of shit, and that's why he is, you know what I'm saying? When I told him the shit that I was experiencing, he couldn't believe the shit. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because, like, back then, when I was experiencing stuff that I was experiencing, is that I was stuck between a rock and a hard place.
So, a question. I guess it's a question probably the world want to know. Did he ever try you?
No, but this is what I want to say. The reason why I'm comfortable talking about that, because I was only like 5, 6 years old when Jeff was like, we're not going to say that he wasn't a pedophile, though. I don't even know that aspect. If he might have been touching little kids, but I wasn't one of them. And I believe that was the fact that he might have had some type of fear and respect for my mom, because he knew the type of business she was in and knew the type of person she was. And before we actually met each other, he knew all about us through his grandmother. So he already had some type of respect. When it was clarified once he seen how we was, it was just clarified then. So we had some type of deep relationship with this guy, because my mom used to sell dope, and she didn't want the state taking her son because of shit she was doing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit that could have been, people could have called DCFS on my mom if they found out she was leaving me with Jeffrey Dahmer to walk me to school while she go make a dope sale. Or, you know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. Jeffrey Dahmer told me he had a Hitler complex. I'm like, so I was very inquisitive. Like I said, I said, what's that? He said, I like to dictate people. I like to control how people move around. When they're around me, they got to do what I do, what I say, or act the way I want them to act. You know what I mean? And I'm like, why you like that? He said, because, you know, it's either like that or it's not. I don't want to be around nobody. He said, so anybody you see come to my house, it's because I want them to be at my house. And that was just it. That's about the closest or the most you could close you could say I asked him about what was going on at the crib. You know what I'm saying? And he just indulged that type of information to me. I found out he was using people's skin as lampshades and like using their hair as pillow stuffing.
You couldn't believe that,
I
huh?
couldn't believe that shit because dude seemed so normal around me. But at the time, ain't no normalcy about talking to no child about anything. You hear me? But I grew up in the 80s where I was born in 84, so it couldn't be no more than 89, 90 when this shit was going on. Brand new shit, though. Well, I would grow up around a family that it wasn't too many families in the city that had a bunch of dope, but this was one of the families that had a bunch of dope, and they was experiencing this shit for the first time, and I was around this shit, and I'm talking about, whew, I was around some shit.
So tell me, Wayne, I mean, besides Jeffrey Dahmer, who else influenced you growing up?
Okay, the major influences. Okay, back to Black Al. The only thing I didn't like that he did was put his hands on women. I never respected a guy that put their hand on women. And him and my dad had that bad growing up. You know what I mean? And no matter how much I liked the guy, once I seen him do that, they shit went from there down to here to me. You know what I mean? And what made me start? I mean, so I grew up looking at dude like I said, like Wesley Snipes on New Jack City. I was like looking at him like he was just the dude. He was a dope dealer, pimp ass dude. I used to ride around with this motherfucker, and he'll be, hold on right there, stay right there, and have hoes give me money. That better not be my money. Give my son his money. I was his son. To him, I was his son before my brother was born. You know what I'm saying? I was his son. And I watched him pimp hoes. I watched him make money out. I watched him cook dope. He's the first motherfucker I seen cook dope though. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know what the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? They didn't put a pick in and taste that. I was young, made my whole mouth numb. He laughing like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
How old was you then?
Like 3.
And he had you testing
You
cocaine?
better say it. Ain't that some shit? He said, do this. He put it on my lip and my mouth was slobbing. He knew he had some good shit. Ain't that some shit?
That's crazy.
And I'm just not remembering that shit. I remember it was a time when that shit happened and he got so high that he stopped watching me and he kept telling me, don't reach for that, Dwayne. I was in a high chair reaching for the stove. And he kept telling me, don't reach, boy, don't reach. And I did. As soon as he turned in here, I did anyways. And while it was some grease he had on the stove, cooking next to the dope. While I knocked the grease down there and the motherfucking pan hit right on my motherfucking, he was cooking sausages. And it hit me on the leg and the sausage got stuck to my leg right here. And why my mama just walked in when it happened. And that's her first time seeing him, like, that fucked her up when she seen that shit, when she walked in on that shit, you know what I'm saying? And she like, what the fuck? And then she like cried because I'm on the ground crying. I'm still stuck to the high chair, but I got all this grease on the ground steaming, and I got a big ass patty stuck to my leg. I'm a baby with a big ass patch, and when she peeling, my skin was peeling off with it. I still got the mark right here.
Damn.
She cussed him out like a motherfucker. Woo, this and that, this and that. And that's my mom was always this powerful woman to me. So, and I could never, that's one person he never put his hands on around. I never seen him do it. And then one day I came home from school and she had a sling on. So what happened to you? She said, Al put his hands on me. I said, what? She said, Al put his hands on me. Now I'm 6 years old and she telling me about how he put his hands on her. But at the same time, I better not tell nobody. And when I go to school about it or whatever, nobody better know. You know, this one of the lies I had to keep to myself. Boy, when I found that out, I called my daddy, though. I waited till Al came home that day, and I called my daddy and said, Al just bit me. And my daddy came over there and whooped the everybody's ass.
Everybody in the house, huh?
The whole house. My Uncle Ray, Uncle James. I got a big ass Uncle James over on Al's side. I beat that nigga ass to beat the whole house by his motherfucking self.
He wasn't having it, huh?
He wasn't having that shit. But that's what, I hate that I pitted my dad against him, but I felt like that was the only way I can get Al back from my mama. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first and only time I ever heard him touch my mama. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I had a question that I wanted to ask you to name 3 traumatic experiences in your life, but it seems like you done named them.
No, I ain't.
You haven't?
No.
Okay, well, let's go on to the question. Can you name 3 traumatic events or experiences in your life?
The first traumatic experience I ever had was when my mama got pistol whipped in front of me when they ran into the house on Highland. They thought it was a safe house. Now we happened to be at the apartment, and they had like multiple apartments where they sold dope out of, but this certain apartment they didn't do nothing out of because we was standing there, and the dudes thought they came to the right house, and when they came to the door, wasn't nobody there but me, my mama, and my little brother. My little brother was a baby then. I'm talking infant baby. He had he had epilepsy too. This about to get deeper than that because when they came in, the first thing they did was hit my mama with the gun. Boom. And my mama, she a G. And once they did that shit, she still got up and try to fight these motherfuckers. My mama ain't nothing but like 4'11". These some big grown ass niggas. And the reason why my mama fighting because she had 2 kids in the house by herself. You hear me? I had to think about like my mama number 26 if I was 6. My mama was 23 if I was 3, turning 4. You know what I'm saying? And so imagine she that young fighting some grown ass niggas about this being a safe house. And they beat the shit out of her. Like, my mama had a pumpkin head. And I'm watching this shit, and I'm like, no, get off my mama. And they kicked me in my motherfucking face. Check tooth right here. That's what, I had big teeth when I was young. To this day, these 2 teeth still chipped. That's why I got kicked in my face at. They wasn't going to stop. The only reason why they stopped is because my little brother woke up out his sleep and was having a seizure. And my mama broke away from them niggas and grabbed her baby and went under the sink. And they got scared. And ran out there and said, no, we got to go, bro. They baby dying. We got to go. And she saved my little brother's life. She put him up on the sink and, like, did something to where she had to pour his tongue or some shit like that because he was always having seizures when he was a baby. You know what I mean? That was my first traumatic experience. My second traumatic experience is when I had a bully. I had a motherfucking bully when I was young. And don't nobody know I had a bully. I didn't tell nobody he was my bully. And because I was in 1st grade and he was in 8th grade. Me and his little sister was in the same class. And he used to bully the shit out of me when no one was around. And one day, I got tired of that shit. And dude was the same height as me. He in the 8th grade, but he was a short-ass dude. He was like not even 5 feet. When he passed away, that's how big he was. You know what I'm saying? And he stopped bullying me because it was a time we was in the courtyard, and he tried to do it in front of everybody. And we wearing uniform clothes. Shit. He in the 8th grade at the same time I'm in the 1st grade. We at the same school. This before that school only went up to 6th grade. He used to go all the way up to 8th grade. And he did it right at when school started in front of everybody. And I must have just did a Power Ranger kick the shit out of him in his chest. Boom, with these boots on and shit. And right when I felt like he was about to get up, his sister got up and got between us like, no, don't do it, don't do it. But that right there, like, solidified the fact that I wasn't gonna take this shit no more type shit. And he respected me after that. Time goes by, I don't see we're gonna call him Lil D. I don't see Lil D for years, but he done been in and out of jail since this time, for breaking in people's houses, for shooting people, all type of stuff. Next time I see Lil D, I'm in the 11th grade. He said, hey, Wayne. Everything popped in my face when I seen him again. From the time when he was bullying me and all the other shit. And I said, hey, what's happening, Lil D? And he run up and give me a hug, right? And when he hugged me, he shoot a motherfucker right behind me. And blew this motherfucker's brains out. A nigga I was going to school with. He blew a motherfucker brains out in front of me I was going to school with. That shit fucked me up. He acted like he was gonna hug me or whatever, and then shot a motherfucker right behind me, hopped in the van and rolled off. While the motherfucker they shot was landing right by me. I'm still like this.
Damn.
Third experience. I had just got out of federal prison from doing manufacturing, delivering marijuana. I used to grow weed and shit, and federal possession of a firearm. I ain't been home. This is September. I got home on house arrest in September. December 21st. December 14th, a week before that. December 14th, I got into a car accident where a motherfucker ran a red light and smacked the side of my car. And I flipped over and everything, boom, and I'm still inside the car and I'm just safe as a bitch. I rode that car to the house. A week right after that, I got so that's the car we used to use for my baby mama to go to work in. So now she got to get dropped off from work at this time. She a manager at Aldi. She called me like, come downstairs and come help me with the bags. I say, she tell my son that. I say, no, I'm gonna come down there and get the bags because I got him washing dishes. I left out the part because me and her breaking up at this time. Y'all don't know, but I found out some shit to the point that when it came that day, when she was coming home that day, I was about to leave. We was breaking up. And she was getting dropped off in a black Cadillac car for like the past week because of the accident I got in. I go outside, I see the same car outside. Me thinking it's her. I walk up to the car, motherfucker snatched me in, and motherfucker was like, you made it easy for us. We about to run in that bitch now. We got you. You can let us in. They was trying to come in my house. I said, y'all ain't about to get in that motherfucker. And I kicked the dude in the face and I said, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. While I'm getting out the car, and that motherfucker shot 8, 9, 10 times. Hit me in my motherfucking arm, blew my bicep up. Two people shot at me. To the point that when the police came, they said, who were you shooting at? You know, the first thing they thought we were shooting at each other and shit. And I'm like, no, I wasn't shooting at nobody. They shooting at each other. I told them, this is what I told them happened. I told them it was two people shooting at each other when I came outside. I just got caught in the crossfire. And what was so cool about that story is because my son, at the time, he probably was like 12 or something like that. And the police pulled him to the side by himself when I was at the hospital, and they questioned him. And my baby mama should never let them do that. But they questioned him while she outside the door listening. And he told them the exact same thing I said. He said, my dad went outside to go help with some groceries and got caught in the crossfire.
But did it seem like that's what happened?
Originally, I thought she set me up. Originally, because we were breaking up. And she told me to come outside. Well, she didn't tell me. She told me to tell my son to come outside. And I said, I'll be out there because I got to wash the dishes. So when this shit happened, I thought she was setting me up to because I was leaving her. I thought she was setting me up. Like, okay, if I can't have you, can't nobody have you type shit. Because we done came to a point where I didn't even know who she was no more. And I was just taking it like, damn, is she really like that? So when she pulled up, and after everything just happened,
You thought she set you up?
yeah, I thought she set me up because we had already came to agreement that when she came there that day, that I was leaving. And that to the point that my brother had got me a room at the Days Inn for a week until I found me a house. And that didn't ever happen until, because when she came home, I was shot. She said, come help me with the bags. I said, bitch, I'm shot. At this time, I still thought, I was like confused, but I still thought she had something to do with it. I didn't call the police. I called my homie who, so look, my guy, I was, at the time when I was serving this, I was fucking with 30 pounds. It's 10 pounds allowed and 20 pounds a mid. And I would get this shit every 2 weeks. Or whenever I was done. So I would take up to 2 weeks to get dude back his bread and shit. So this was the time when this shit just happened. I never thought about no shit like this, but I just got shot. And I was still confused about the situation. And the first thing I did was call my guy and was like, nigga, they just robbed me, took everything, and they shot me in front of my motherfucking kid. I said, that's why they got it. He said, what you mean? I said, nigga, a motherfucker walked me in my house and shot me in front of my kids and took everything. The first thing I did. He said, get the fuck out of here. I'm on my way. By the time he came, the whole house was sold up. And ambulance was out there, all type of dumb ass shit. He called me. I'm upstairs in the house while the fire department is cutting my clothes off to see the wound. And it's the first time I seen this wound. When they cut the clothes off, so look, my bicep is a bone like this. And when they blew it up, it broke apart. So I got a bone hanging out this hole, and I got a bone from the top hanging out this hole with tendons and meat. And my daughter seen this shit. She the first one to see this shit. And she said, Daddy, no. And I said, God damn, that's when I started crying. I said, God damn, my baby seen this shit. And that's her traumatic experience. I mean, God damn, fucked her up. You know what I'm saying? So while this was going on, the first thing the police would say, who are you shooting at? So what are you talking about? Who was shooting at? You know, I had to go through the spill like I got caught in crossfire. Even when we got to the hospital, a detective showed up and was like, "We found 2 different shell cases. Who were you shooting at?" I said, "Man, y'all ain't gonna tell me I was shooting at no motherfucking body, man. I got shot from coming outside. That was it. They were trying to make me say that I was shooting somebody so I can, you know what I'm saying? Um, and the whole what make it so bad, I didn't even know my cousin them stayed across the street from me. They just moved from Chicago and opened up after set across the street from my baby mama house. I'm freshly home from jail and I'm not knowing who these guys stay across the street. They my own cousins from Chicago and I don't even know this shit. They was out there when I got shot. All them motherfuckers ran in the house. These the same bad, yeah, I'm talking about y'all the same badass motherfucker, all pistols and shit, dope boy, all you motherfuckers. Y'all ran in the house when I got shot, nigga. When I said, don't shoot, don't shoot. And I look out, I was the only motherfucker outside getting shot. There was about 30 motherfuckers outside before that happened.
That's
Ain't
crazy.
that some shit? Happy December 21st.
Hey, you getting shot was a perfect alibi to keep 30 pounds, though.
You
Huh?
better say it. You better motherfucking say it. Put me right back in the game. Put me right back there.
Just the lick you need, huh?
Just to lick I need it. And you know
Man,
what's crazy? When that shit happened, I even got my boy back right. I didn't get him back right away. I made sure I was straight, and then I compensated him for what they took, and he gave me right back. He said, "My nigga, you ain't never supposed." He said, "My nigga, the least I could do is make sure you had that." He said, "Yeah." And he told me if that didn't happen, I would have did it myself. Shout out to Kirk, baby, because I told him what happened after the fact. After I gave him his money, I said, "My nigga, ain't nobody robbed me. I needed it." And that was the perfect excuse, my nigga. He go your money. He said, "You can have that, nigga. You went through it." Ain't that some shit?
real nigga.
I love you, Kirk. Shout out.
Man, so you did fair time?
I did fair time.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so it was originally a state case. I used to grow weed. I used to grow shit out of weed. Shout out to my Uncle Pee Wee. He the one encouraged me to want to grow weed and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we smoked the shit out of weed. I had a plug in California who used to mail shit to me, and he wanted to see me grow. So he taught me how to grow and move. I even went out there for the summer, and I remember going to the old what they call Day House. We called it the Day House, but it's really a Rancho Cucamonga. It's not Rancho Cucamonga. It's in San Bernardino. They said Rancho Cucamonga. My guy Ray Kush owned that house. They shot the movie in on next Friday. He gave me opportunity that I could come stay in that house and work out his dispensary. He gave me $500 a week to work out his dispensary. He only charged me $500 a month for that whole house if I was to move out there. And I didn't because I had a baby mama who didn't want to do shit. She was scared of planes, all that dumb ass shit. And one thing I regret. But um, going, that's how I went to the feds because um, I was growing weed and I was doing it openly because I had my medical marijuana card and I thought I was slick. I tell motherfuckers, I don't stay in Wisconsin. I stay in California. I had a whole YouTube page showing motherfuckers how to do this shit. And when I went to court, that's how I got my shit dismissed because I had a medical marijuana card. But then the feds picked it up. They just stuck me with the gun. I ended up doing time for the gun. Uh, I supposed to just not be getting off papers for this shit. April of 2026, next year. I supposed to just not be getting off paper. I supposed to have like 10 years of paper. But I got off early because I was always relapsing while I was on probation. The judge just gave me an opportunity. He said, "Look, you're gonna keep saying you relapse, and we're not gonna lock you up for this shit because it's just drug. You just keep getting high. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to go back for 6 months, and we'll dead all your paper, or we can just keep doing the same dance for the next 10 years. What you want to do?" And Judge Wagner, he was a fucked up judge, but then he made me right. Went back for them 6 months and dead my paper at the end of 2018. You hear me? I've been on papers for almost 8 years now, something like that.
So, what's next for Black Wayne, man?
So I'm writing 3 books right now. I got a book I'm writing called Wizard, Witches, and Warlocks. Nothing to do with magic. It's about experiences me and my nephew had when we were scamming. It's got some true events in there. Um, I got a book I'm writing with my baby mama called For the Love of Honey. It's a true events about how we met, but we made it seem like it was in high school, but it wasn't. We met when we were grown, but we just, making a book about it. And then I got a book about what we talking about right now, everything that happened in my life called Milwaukee, Milwaukee. And it's gonna tell everything. I'm working on an app called Let Me See It Live. I'm working on a game. And I got some adventures that I'm working on. You know what I mean? So be looking out for that. Hopefully I'll be on Shark Tank soon.
They don't understand. They got to see your plate, huh?
You better say it.
Plate full, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get it full. I need a team. But if I don't, man, I'm going to keep going to myself, grinding every day.
No doubt, man. So, Wayne, if somebody wanted to catch up with you, man, to even reach out to you to tell your story or to ask you about an app or maybe publishing a book, how could they do that?
Okay, well, I got a couple Facebook pages. You can hit me on Dwayne How Highville, How High is one word, or Dwayne Nicoleville, -Nicoleville. VEAL. V as in Victor, EAL. Like Ville Chops, Ville Patties. Or you can email me at HLECEO25@gmail.com.
Well, Wayne, I want to thank you, man, for coming on Cold Red,
You the man,
the platform where there's smoke, there's fire.
Man, you the man, bro.
Man, I'm your host, the Playmaker.
Appreciate you, bro.
And this is Black Wayne. And we out.
No paparazzi. Lil' baby, hop on this dick and ride like a Kawasaki. I be in mood almost every song.